free seminar to go to. And, with the weather kind of changing in Western New York, it's a great place to spend a Saturday afternoon, and you get to see Tiff and Chris and me and Mike and Glenn and all the other powers that be, because we're going to do our radio show right from there. So we'd love to have you register. How would they get registered?
Call Mike and Glenn at 633-1515. And then I'd be remiss to say that also, if I don't say, on January 21st, we're doing a seminar with Russ Gullo, and it's going to be about property exchange, and the impact it has on you. And I think you're going to talk about businesses.
If you're selling investment property, right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. Things that happened this week. We always keep you abreast of what happened. Social Security. Those of you that make $118,500 or more know that your FICA stops at that level, but they have just increased it. The largest increase, I think, in history. I think that's what it says. So now your FICA won't stop until your income goes to $127,200. That's effective 2017. So that's quite an increase that you're going to pay in FICA.
Yeah, I remember it almost seems like 5 years ago when it was $85,000.
I remember 97 too as well.
And
then the other thing is, if you're at age 62, you can now make wages of $16,920 before you have to start paying back any Social Security. So that gives you a kind of a little cushion there too. Right?
Sounds like it parlays the increase in the Social Security parlays with Obamacare and the increasing cost of Medicare, Medicaid, and all that good stuff, Yeah,
well, that's, and I will tell you, cost of health insurance is unbelievable. We're going to also deal with that at the seminar next week, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Tim is going to do a presentation.
And I think we have a special guest that's going to be on in a couple weeks, too, talking about
2 weeks.
Health insurance, right?
Yep, and he's going to be on with our healthcare navigator, Tim Eliason, and actually we should invite Karen to be on, too. And they're going to talk about, because it's open enrollment, and so you can sign up through New York State Department, the Gov, New York State Gov, and you can sign up for your what do you call it? Your health insurance for the year.
Right.
Your subsidy and things like that.
And they know the ins and the outs of Medicare, which insurance, and they'll break it down for you and show you what's the best part.
It's interesting. I was watching a commercial the other day, because this is open enrollment for people that are over the age of 65. And, it seems so strange to me that people are supposed to pick what's their best health insurance when it's always so complicated. People don't know, and there's like nobody to help them, and it's just so bizarre. But anyway, let's go to the phones. We have Dave from Lockport. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady. Hey, Dave. How can we help you, sir?
Hey, I got 4 what I think are really, really quick questions. But
we're ready.
I wanted to tell you first, 7 years ago I bought this house, and I went the normal route with the mortgage, even though I could have afforded not to. And I thought I did good. I got a mortgage for 5 1/4. And about 6 months later, I looked in the mirror and I said, what in the hell is I took the money reset, the CDs reset down to 1%, and I'm paying 5 1/4. So, boy, it's not. For a long time, the first of the month would come around, and I would think.
All right. So, did you pay it off then?
Yeah. So, for a long time, it got me. Am I forgetting something? The first of the month,
Well, I mean, and for those people that are listening, if what Dave is saying is that he had a mortgage, but he was getting 1% on his investments. He was paying 5.25% on a mortgage. He had the ability to pay it off, and so effectively he was saving 4.25%.
Yeah.
I should have never got the mortgage to begin with, but going through that whole process is mind-numbing to a certain extent.
Oh, if you think it's mind-numbing before, you ought to wait. I mean, after what's happened this last go-around, mortgages, they about ask for a pint of blood and a urine sample before you get the mortgage.
Chris and I just went through it. It was like a full-time job. It was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I think they're quick.
Okay, we're ready.
Does New York State property tax credit money that we got a while back, that goes on line 21 of the 1040?
Nope.
No,
tell them the good news.
It doesn't go on line 21. It reduces your property taxes from your Schedule A.
Good. That is good news. That's what I was hoping you would say.
So that's one.
Reduces
Number 2?
good. Is line 42 exemption still 4,000? Have you heard yet?
You mean you want to know what the exemptions are for 2016,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and while we're
They
checking
went
on
up $100, so whatever they
4,100.
So 4,100.
Okay, good. Up one.
Okay.
Excellent. Because I
Number 3.
I try and plan everything so that I give Obama like a handful of spit.
There you go.
Number 3, for Schedule A, is line 5B still there? The general sales tax.
Yes, sir.
Did they make that permanent? Do you know, or are they just okayed it for another?
No, I believe that is a permanent change.
It is.
You guys remember, was it permanent last year?
I'm trying. I thought a couple-year extension on it,
That's
but I'm
what
not.
thinking too.
Now the next one, again on Schedule A, line 17, the gifts other than cash or check. And of course, this is from last year's paperwork because.
So non-cash contributions is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's close. Line 17 specifies, it keeps mentioning 250 or more. And if you
Well, that would be cash contributions.
the instructions,
All right, so we'll explain what that means.
Instructions.
Chris, you want to explain?
yeah, but the instructions only mention 500. They don't mention 250 at
Well,
all.
250 is for when you donate 250 or more to one organization. You got to have a written documentation of that cash or check donation. The $500 is when you give clothing, a car, something like that, and then you have to use Form 8283.
Right, so you're kind of missing up, you're kind of commingling two lines. The cash contributions you need a receipt from, if you gave more than $250 in any particular day, you have to have a separate receipt for that. The non-cash contributions are what Chris is talking about for the $500 or more.
I can
And
understand that I might commingle, but if you read those instructions, you're not going to get what you just told me out of those instructions.
Well, but that's why it's the tax law, and that's why we're here.
Okay, so then close, it's 500 for me.
That's right.
Yeah, well, and you want
have
to
to do
make
that
sure,
form.
it's not so easy either. You want to make sure that you have a good log of what you gave
Do.
and the fair market value at the time that you gave it.
We do.
Okay, that's
I'm
good.
going to regift Bill and Hillary's used under. All right?
Yes, sir.
I believe Trump didn't use that. Anyway, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks.
I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We'd love to hear what you have to say. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back on the other side with your questions.
Attention real estate investors. Thinking of selling investment property? Pay no tax. Call R.J. Gullo Companies, qualified intermediaries for 1031 exchanges and real estate investment specialists. For a free consultation on how to pay no tax when selling investment property, call 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com. That's 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com.
Hi, this is Esther, and let me tell you how great it is to have an insurance agent like Nationwide's Bill Barber. Bill's 40-plus years experience has saved me money on my premiums and potential claims. Have an insurance question, problem, or crisis? Bill will work with you personally without calling an overseas customer service number. All I can say is whenever I need someone on my side, I'm glad to have Nationwide's Bill Barber.
For all your insurance needs, call the Bill Barber Agency at 688-2199. Call 688-2199 today.
Nationwide is on your side.
This is Attorney Dennis Kitchen. Now is a good time to evaluate your finances and your debts. How much debt do you have? Well, if you don't know or you don't want to know, that's a sign that it's too much. Time to talk to an attorney about getting a fresh start. I've been helping people in debt for 40 years. And I don't charge for an initial consultation regarding debt problems. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
For a free consultation regarding debts, call attorney Dennis Kitchen at 716-631-5661. The heating season is here. Wentz Propane and Oil wants you to stay warm. Call today to schedule your delivery and get $100 off your next delivery if you refer a friend. Call Jack today at 731-9826 or 731-3015. Mention EG Tax for a special discount. Call today, 731-9826. That's 731-9826 for Wentz Propane and Oil.
Hey, I'm Esther Galias, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. We're talking taxes, and wanted to clarify on that sales tax question on whether sales taxes are deductible. We know it's deductible. Whether it's permanent, it is a permanent change in the tax law. Now, that doesn't mean they can't make it unpermanent. You know, you get a new
Would they
group
do that?
And you get a new group of people in there, and they say, oh, wait, we're going to change everything. So we're kind of got our seatbelts buckled to see who wins the election. Speaking of that, many people have said, what's the difference between the Clinton and the Trump tax plans? And so we thought we'd talk about that. And again, your phone calls, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. Okay, so in the lowest tier, and I do not say whether they can pay for it or how they're going to pay for it, if Congress is going to go through for it. But here's the deal: on the lowest tier, at $23,000 or less, the Clinton tax plan has a $4 increase. The Trump tax plan has $128 savings. The working poor, $23,000 to $49,000. Clinton would be a $15 increase. Trump would be a $969 savings. Middle class taxpayers, $49,000 to $81,000. Clinton would have a $41 increase. Trump would have a $2,732
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Savings.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Yeah, well, because he really wants to cut taxes, because he really believes that's the only way to move the economy. Upper middle, 81 to 143. Clinton has a modest increase of $143. Trump has a savings of $5,369. And for upper income, just before the 1%, 143 to 209. Clinton has a 246 increase, and Bush, gee, Miss Crime, I'm going to date myself. Trump has a 7731 savings.
Well, at least you
and
didn't
the
say
1%,
Roosevelt.
Clinton, now here's the one where this is where Clinton goes drastic. She has a $7,800 increase, and Trump has an 11% cut. Trump also is in favor of a large child care credit and a family leave payment paid for through unemployment. So I don't know how that all could flesh out. I don't know how it could work. I have read a lot of economists this last few weeks, and if Trump's plan, if he were elected, if Trump's plan went into place, they do believe that he would create a lot of jobs, which would then bring more taxpayers into the system, and that would then pay for the debt. But that's how they all flesh out.
Right.
So
And
again, if you have any questions, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone.
And I have
yes.
a couple other things. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Chris.
There's for federal estate taxes, people ask us all the time, what about estate taxes? Clinton is proposing to go back to 2009, where a 45% with only a 3.5 million exclusion. So she's looking to reduce the exclusion down 2 million, where Trump is trying to get rid of the estate tax altogether. So I mean that's huge right there. What else did I see?
Okay, so here's the thing. Let's say that I have a very large estate, let's say worth $100 million. So if I have, under the Clinton proposal, I would owe a gigantic estate tax, right?
Yeah, 45% on
But
97
what if
million.
I put that money from my estate into a charity? Would then I pay an estate tax? No, I would not pay an estate tax.
Okay.
So who has a charity? Okay, that's all I got.
Very good point.
True.
Yep.
You just have to do a charitable foundation,
right.
And then you can hire yourself. You can pay for your travel.
We've heard all about
you
their
can hire your
non-for-profit.
children. You can buy buildings, etc., because that's how the tax code works. Okay, I'm Esther Gullies, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we have Mr. Bill calling from South Buffalo. How can we help you?
Yes, I have a question. If you sell your principal home and it's tax-free, and you use those funds to, say, buy a condo, what happens tax-wise in the future if you or your spouse would turn around and sell the second home?
See, okay, that's a great question, Bill, because everybody always wants to know about sale of personal residences. The old law is kaput, and the new law is really a very generous thing. And if people tax planned, you could buy and sell your personal residence every 2 years and do whatever you want with the money. Tiff, Chris, want to expand on that?
So the good news, Bill, is that house that you're living in right now, you've owned it for the last 2 out of 5 years? I think yes. And so if you and your wife make less than $500,000, you don't have to worry about paying any capital gains, and you can go ahead and use that money.
And you can sell your next house in 2 years as long as you live there for the 2 years out of 5 years.
So
you're in good
2 years
shape.
after that, you could buy another house and sell it and make a profit up to $500,000. And the next year, 2 years after that. So you don't have to buy another piece of property. You can if you want, but if you lived in it 2 out of the last 5 years, it's tax-free as long as the gain is less than $500,000, and $250,000 if you're married, if you're a single taxpayer. So it's a great way to skin a cat, right?
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Bill.
And
Okay,
that was really good way that you said it. You know, there was the old tax law where you had to do something different, but now it's much more generous.
Right. And let's go to Ed in Tonawanda. Hey, Ed, how can we help you?
Yes, hello, Esther. I have a question relative to the RMD, required minimum distribution.
Mm-hmm.
If you forget to deduct the tax on the amount of the RMD that you received, is there any repercussion on that from the federal government?
What do you mean deduct the tax?
Well, he means have it withheld at the point of distribution.
Okay, so you don't do withholding on it.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
Include the withholding, the I guess the 10% tax on the.
It depends on how the other income.
So here's the thing. Here's how it all works, Ed. You do your tax return. You put all your income in, all of your withholding, and so let's say you have a balance due of $500. If it's less than $1,000, there is no penalty. If it's $1,000 or more, there's going to be a penalty that they're going to charge you because you owed them more than $1,000. But they're going to allow you to escape the penalty by doing a Form 2210 if the reason that you owed the money was because last year you didn't have a liability and the amount you paid in was equal to last year. And so the first year, usually there's like this golden parachute you can use. So if they didn't withhold and you end up owing more than $1,000, but last year you had at least the same liability and you paid in that much taxes, you can avoid the penalty by doing the Form 2210.
Well, if for example the RMD was only $1,750, but
$1,750.
But I forgot to withdraw the $175 tax.
As long as if that's your only liability, $175, that's under $1,000, you're going to pay no penalty.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And then don't forget, if you're over the age of 59 and a half, you can exclude up to $20,000 per person on the state of New York.
State, right.
Don't forget that, Ed.
Okay. I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we have Dave. Hey, Mr. Dave, how can we help you?
Well, when you started describing the differences between the two tax plans of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, you went down through them and you were doing pretty good there. And Hillary was going to raise something by, I think it was $49, and then something about $2,000 with Donald Trump. But the other lady that's with you interrupted you, and she had a comment, and we didn't hear what that was.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, so at middle class, 49,000 to 81, Hillary was 44 increase. Trump was a decrease of 2732. Middle class, 81,000 to 143, increase in Hillary of 143, decrease in Trump of 5369. 43,000 to 209,000. Clinton increased 246, Trump decreased 7731, and then the 1%. Hillary's looking at a $78,000 increase, and Trump 11% cut.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Very important information for it.
It is, but I have to tell you, I'm really light on details. I wish I had more details. Because when you aren't privy to all of the, what makes these figures, it's really difficult to tell somebody exactly how it's going to work. I will tell you myself, I don't know how all of this is going to work without some gigantic savings in the budget for either person. I do hope that if Mr. Trump can come up with new jobs, that would be awfully great. But it's very interesting because it's a lot like going to visit the Easter Bunny. It all sounds really good, and you hope it's all going to pan out.
That has the Easter Bunny comment. That's very good. That's just about what every election.
It does sound a lot like that. Like, what's your wish list? We're going to tell you what you want to hear. But thanks for calling, Dave from Jamestown.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're going to take a short break for news. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on the cell phone. We have Marcia and Brian holding, and your questions on the other side. Have a great time, and I'll see you in a minute.
17 days to the election, the presidential candidates are focused on battleground states. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton both held events today in Pennsylvania. She's holding one later today. Trump outlining his plans for what would be his first 100 days in office, including a hiring freeze on almost all federal jobs. A surprise visit to Iraq from Defense Secretary Ash Carter, as Iraqi ground troops supported by special forces from the U.S. are continuing their operation to retake the city of Mosul from ISIS control.
We've got tough fighting ahead, and the U.S. will continue to play its part.
Carter talked to troops in Baghdad. He met with military commanders and Iraqi officials. Parts of the Northeast are dealing with wind-driven rain today. Forecasters say in some places it could change over to snow. AT&T is reportedly in talks to buy Time Warner for $80 billion. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
From the WBEN Newsroom, I'm Mike Baggerman. Here's what's happening. One of the restaurants raided by ICE this week has reopened. La Divina Mexican store and restaurant in Kenmore opened for the first time since the Tuesday raids. The raids were conducted as part of a probe into illegal immigrants working in the area. The criminal complaint also revealed the illegal immigrants were being paid under the table and no taxes were being paid. The popular short-term rental service Airbnb could come to an end in New York. Governor Cuomo has not announced what he intends to do when he makes his decision at the end of the month, as he's already facing legislation. If the law passes, anyone who advertises short-term rental could face fines of upwards $7,500. From the WBEN Newsroom, I'm Mike Baggerman.
Listen to WBEN anytime, anywhere. Online at WBEN.com, with our app on your phone, and now on TuneIn.com. News Radio 930 AM WBEN.
Wow, EG Tax is open all year, and we do more than taxes. We do payroll, bookkeeping, budgeting, retirement planning, corporate business setup, offer and compromises, and we even have a New York Health Navigator on staff. EG Tax was thinking of offering oil changes on cars, but then we thought we better just stick to what we do best. So for taxes and much, much more, call 632-7886 or click EG Tax today. Come join our family.
People often ask me or my coworkers about how their investments are going to impact their tax return, and we always would say, consult your tax advisor. Well, I have great news.
This year, EG Tax will have one of our senior tax accountants, Dana Bobowitz, EA, who will work inside the Financial Guide's office on Main Street in Williamsville.
Together, we will be able to meet all your financial needs in one appointment.
We just made it a lot easier for you to come join our family.
Call 633-1515. That's 633-1515 to make an appointment.
Investment advisory services offered through Blackridge Asset Management, LLC. Securities offered through Peak Brokerage Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Blackridge Asset Management, LLC and the Financial Guys, LLC are not affiliates of Peak Brokerage Services. Offices located at 6631 Main Street, Williamsville. When Esther updated her kitchen and bathroom, she chose the Granite Shop. They were reasonable, professional, and best of all, they were done in less than 2 weeks. Can't ask for anything more. The Granite Shop offers countertops in granite, quartz, and marble. Call 402-1046 or online at graniteshop1.com. Their showroom is located at 2045 Niagara Falls Boulevard in Niagara Falls, New York. When you call or visit, mention EG Tax and your sink cutout is free. Call the Granite Shop today, 402-1046.
Hey, that's the Rolling Stones. I think so, right? Am I right? I am. Hi, Mr. Goulias, the tax lady from I get one a year, right? And I didn't even hear him sing. I heard the intro and I knew. I'm Mr. Goulias, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're here to help you with your taxes. We want to make sure that you don't overpay. Hey, look it's October 22nd. And you know what's happening? The leaves are falling, Thanksgiving's coming, then Christmas, and then tax season. And we want to help you to make sure that you don't overpay your taxes. We wanted to talk about I know we have several people holding, and we want to get to your calls, but we wanted to talk about one of the things that people should think about is investing in investment property, and it really is a great opportunity, don't you guys think?
Absolutely. I have so many clients, and it's a great way to eat up some of your income, and it's a great investment too because interest rates are so low and so competitive. Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, it gives you write-offs, low interest rates, another form of savings because, let's face it, the tenant is paying the mortgage for you. You know, you don't have it. If you have a great investment property, it doesn't take a lot of time to manage, so it's easy to manage, and it keeps pace with market conditions. And then so if it's a great real estate market, your property goes up in value.
I just did a client the other day, and their business is flipping properties too. They fix them up and they get them ready, and they turn them over for a profit, and they try to hold it for longer than a year. So that investment is a long-term gain.
That's exactly right. But I will tell you, if you're looking for a way to make some good income and tax benefits, investment property, and especially with the interest rates being so low. Some of the cons of investment property is it requires your time and effort to keep up to date and rented. It's not easily sold if the market conditions changed, and you have to do your due diligence before purchasing, because if it has problems, you end up paying for it. So I love to watch HGTV, and a lot of times they'll have these houses that they're flipping, and then they take down the walls and they go, oh my gosh, you have knob and tube. I don't even know what knob and tube is. Knob and tube wiring. We're going to have to rewire the whole thing, you know. And so I keep thinking they should have had somebody to knob and tube it before they buy these things, because this is always the case. But anyway, that's something that you might want to think about doing from an investment standpoint, because it's a great opportunity, especially in Western New York. The property values are absolutely astronomical right now.
Yep. Right? Our prices are going up. Houses are, even in Buffalo, houses have gone up drastically.
Okay, let's take a look at Marcia. Hey, Marcia, how can we help you? I'm Esther Goulias, the tax lady.
Hi. Thanks for your time. What I would like to know is I'm actually asking for my boyfriend. He's had sole custody of his daughter for the past 8 years. Mother has had no contact with the daughter or attempted to contact her for 8 years. She had supervised visitation, but she walked out on that. However, every year that he goes to file for his tax...
She claims the kid first, right?
She claims.
Oh, I am so happy you called. We are going to make you so happy, aren't we, guys?
Yes, yes.
So tell her what to do.
Well, the truth is, and Chris, chime in if you think anything, he should claim the daughter because he's the custodial parent and he takes care of her and
He should
provides
do
more.
amended returns for the last 3 years.
And then,
okay?
yep.
And then he attaches the court order that says that he has custody of the daughter, proof that the child lives in his house. Then they give him the money and go after her.
The scoundrel does
Okay.
that.
So attach the last 3 years of
His last 3 years tax returns.
Right. If he gave up the right to claim her, he has to.
He didn't give her a Form 8332, did he?
give who a form.
He never let her claim the child, correct?
Never. No.
Okay.
Then
Then the man is going to be very happy.
Call
if
us.
he wants to call our office at 632-7886, he's got thousands of dollars coming back, and we're happy to help him, and we'll help fight the battle with
not
the
to
IRS
mention-
because they're going to initially want proof that he was the custodial parent and not her.
And not to
Because-
mention, this is sort of set of precedents, and this nonsense has got to stop. Once he does this, then she's going to stop doing this.
Yeah, it's terrible. He actually did, the person was doing his taxes for years. I don't know why he hasn't done something sooner than this, but I've been pushing him to do it because it's
Okay, so here's the thing.
But
I can't talk for other tax firms, but I can talk to you about ours. And EG Tax aggressively will go after what's right, okay?
Thank you.
And we don't charge you to go after what's right.
He lives right around the corner from you, and I'm going to pass this information on.
Okay, but I will tell you what's wrong is that the non-custodial parent is claiming that kid, and we will help him. Okay?
And she wanted the phone number, she said.
632-7886, or you can get it at egtax.com. Okay?
27886. Thanks very much.
Thank you, dear.
You know, and- and-
those are like my favorite phone calls.
Yeah, and a
Because-
couple. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
A couple other things about this too is, first of all, he should do the amended return, start the investigation. Then he could turn in a fraud form to get another side of the IRS looking into it. But also, starting this year, the IRS is delaying people's refunds with children. So this could also help benefit him, because if she does it again and 2 returns come in with the same child, hopefully instead of just issuing the refund, they're going to investigate it starting then and only issue till all the proof is in.
And that's true. I mean, they're promising that refunds are going to be late, and the earliest refunds with people with earned income credits and children claimed on the return would be the middle of February. So if you're somebody that needs that money, I would suggest you change your W-4 at work right now, because refunds are not going to be fast this year.
Nope.
Especially with identity theft. It's really a growing problem. Okay, and let's go to Mr. Ken. Hey, Ken, how can we help you, sir?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
I got a question. Okay, I just borrowed from my 401k at work,
Okay.
and all right, the state and federal both took 10%. My question is, how does that affect my 2017 return?
Usually if you borrow,
All
you
right,
don't-
so give Ken the good news.
Well, usually if you borrow from your 401k, they wouldn't withhold anything.
Unless you're over the limit of borrowing.
All right, no, I only borrowed like 2,000, and they
Okay, so here's the thing, Ken. If you borrowed the money, then they should not have taken out 10%. If you didn't borrow the money
And you
and they
took a
gave you $1,800 and it was something that doesn't have to be repaid, it's going to be a taxable event plus a penalty. So what I'd suggest you do is go to your HR department and find out if they didn't screw up, and make this as if it wasn't a loan and it was a distribution. And if you need any help, give us a call at 632-7886, and we'll be very happy to talk to you and your HR department.
all right,
632-7886.
See, some 401ks are in them. They let you borrow from them, and you have to pay back, and you have to pay back interest, and you're paying back the interest to yourself. So you have the option of borrowing or taking a distribution, and so you have to find out which one you did and which one you wanted to do.
Yeah, because you might have told them you wanted to borrow,
Yeah.
and somebody processing the paperwork gave you the money and doesn't have it recorded that way. And so you still have time to fix it before the end of the year.
Okay, yeah, because like I took out $2,000 and they sent me a check for $1,600.
Yeah, then you got to better talk to them.
Yeah, because I was just curious about that.
Okay, well, it sounds like they think it was a distribution, which will really hurt you at tax time. So let us know if we can help you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we have Jeff. Hey, Mr. Jeff, how can we help you?
Hey, Esther and friends. I'm just calling in. I want to see. I purchased a full liveaboard boat back in March. It has the berth, the sleeping arrangements, the toilet facilities, and also the cooking facilities. And I'm just closing on my first house here coming up next week. I just want to know the tax benefits of both, since I am purchasing my first house, with 2 months left in the year, and if I can still use the interest on my boat as well.
Okay, so you can use the interest on a primary and a secondary mortgage. You can actually you're allowed 2 mortgages, one on your personal, one on a secondary situation. Your boat would qualify as a secondary form of living as long as it has the kitchen, the potty, and a place to sleep. So the interest is going to be deductible on the boat, and the interest is going to be deductible plus the property taxes on your primary residence.
And then one thing I've discovered, Jeff, is you purchased the house towards the end of the year, so there isn't going to be as much interest for 2016, whereas 2017 it'll be a full year of interest and property taxes. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, but you want to make sure when you're when you're doing your tax return, Jeff, that you take out your HUD-1 form or whatever they call it now. I think they changed it. But it's the closing document, because you want to make sure if you paid any points that you list. The only place you're going to find that is on your closing document. And the other thing is, if you bought a previously owned home, you would have reimbursed the seller for property taxes, and that's the only place you're going to find it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't pay any points, so I know that for sure.
Did you buy a home that somebody else lived in?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so you reimburse them property taxes, and the only place you're going to find that is on your closing statement.
Perfect. I'll make sure to say that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on your cell phone. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back on the other side.
Looking to redo your kitchen or bathroom countertops without spending a fortune? Well, look no further. The Granite Shop has it all. Granite, quartz, and marble, with prices starting as low as $39.99. Mention EG Tax, and your sink cutout is free. Their showroom is located at 2045 Niagara Falls Boulevard in Niagara Falls, New York. Call the Granite Shop, 402-1046, or visit online at graniteshop1.com. That's 402-1046 for the Granite Shop.
You know, the cost of education can be expensive, costing thousands of dollars. What if you could qualify for a totally free course of study, culminating in the ability to obtain a certification which is sought after anywhere in the U.S.? Well, then come join our free tax school. Our hope is that you'll love doing taxes as much as we do. So if you want to spend winters in a warm environment, summers off, and autumn in tax school, this opportunity is ripe for you. Call EG Tax at 632-7886. Come join our family. Looking for a career where you're only working 3 months a year, especially when those 3 months are during the winter? EG Tax is looking for entry-level tax professionals in a well-respected critical industry at no cost to you. That's right, our free tax course is starting soon with a location near you. If interested, please call 632-7886, 632-7886, or click egtax.com. Come join our family.
The heating season is here. Wentz Propane and Oil wants you to stay warm. Call today to schedule your delivery and get $100 off your next delivery if you refer a friend. Call Jack today at 731-9826 or 731-3015. Mention EG Tax for a special discount. Call today, 731-9826. That's 731-9826 for Wentz Propane and Oil.
Hey, I'm Esther Gulius, a tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. We love to hear what you have to say. And I don't know if you have seen, but we really, really want to help you. It seems so daunting, as complicated as the tax code is, to look at all the angles, and that's part of what we do. And something can be right that you would do if you took it on column A, but it might be righter to take it as a credit because it saves you more money, and that's part of what we do. And we want to make sure that we can tax plan for you so that you not only know this year but next year as well. And the other thing is open enrollment is going on right now through the New York State of Health, and EG Tax will help you. We have a absolutely free service. We get paid nothing for it. So if you're somebody that would like health insurance and you don't know if you qualify, and if you thought you wouldn't qualify because you have assets, that's all gone by the boards. You can have $1 trillion in assets, but not any income, and you'll still qualify for Medicaid.
You know, Esther, you were talking about people putting things on the wrong line. That one guy who called earlier about the property tax credit, he was thinking about putting it on line 21, but in actuality, it's tucked away under the Schedule A, and you might not even have to use it if you don't itemize. Yeah,
true. It means a lot. It may only meet a $200 difference in your refund, but you think about that. Our average fee is $100, so you would have saved $100 by just coming to see us, and there's no stress, and we guarantee the work. Right?
That's right.
I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on his cell phone, and we have John from Tonawanda. Hey, Mr. John, how can we help you?
Hi, Esther. Good show.
Thank you, sir.
The question I have a traditional IRA taking out the required minimum distribution annually for the last maybe 15, 20 years. My question is, if you are short in taking out your minimum required, say, $10 or $100, you have a penalty of 50% on that amount that you fail to withdraw.
Correct.
Who notifies you? What kind of paperwork trail follows you to make that additional payment of the penalty?
Well, really, the bottom line is it would be kind of mired in the administrative work of the Internal Revenue Service. It's kind of a honest engine kind of thing. I hate to use that word engine because I'm sure that's politically incorrect, but where you're going to absolutely say, I'm going to do the right thing. I think they'd ever catch you? Probably not on an underpayment of $50.
And Chris is sitting over here
it's
chomping.
up to the thing is, if it ever happened and you got audited, then they would charge you penalty and interest. So for $50, you never would want to cheat. But do I think that they would catch you? Probably not.
I understand it, but technically you could be short 1 penny.
Oh, but under 50 cents, and they wouldn't.
Chris, what were you?
The thing is, your IRA sends you a Form 5498, and what you get in the mail, the IRS gets in the mail too. So that form will tell them what your balance is, and they know your age, so they calculate out your minimum distribution. So probably in a year and a half, you would get a letter if it was, within their reasonable.
But you see, the thing is, $50 is below their. They usually don't bother you for less than $50.
Right. That's why I said within their reasonable.
That would be so, but you just don't want to go there.
I understand it, but technically you would hear from the IRS.
Correct.
Technically you should, but I think for $50 they wouldn't even send you the letter. But it's a good thought, but the truth of the matter is, I think, what Chris is saying is correct. I don't know that they would even be able to put it all together. But you certainly don't want to do anything that would cause you a problem in the future. But we appreciate your phone call, sir.
Yeah, it was just a thought. And one other quick question.
Yeah.
I have on itemized distributions. You indicated something about clothing donations of that anything over $500 you had to have a report for that, or
Form number 8283.
Yeah, on your tax return, you have to use Form 8283.
Which is really, John, just an elaborated explanation of how you arrived at the figures that you're taking for non-cash contributions.
Yeah, normally donations like the Salvation Army, it's just an itemized list. And how do you come up with a quantity, a number or something?
Well, that's where you have to say, I gave 5 blouses worth $5 a piece, 27 pairs of pants worth $10 a piece, 16 shoes worth
And actually, if you go to like Goodwill.com, they give you a valuation sheet. If it was in fair condition, it's worth this much. If the shirt is in good condition, it's worth this much. So if you go to if you go to the Salvation Army, they have valuation sheets, and they're really, really helpful. It gives you couches and dishes and things like that.
Well, that's good. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your show.
All right, thank you, John. I'm Esther Gulias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on the cell phone. Our tax schools are pretty much started right now, aren't they?
They're all started, going on.
Tim's online started today, right? And,
so we're full, and so our commercial that ran, unfortunately, got to wait till next year, unless you have a tax background and you think that you'd be able to pick up the class after the second session. We wouldn't be able to accommodate you this year. Going back to RMDs, required minimum distributions are for people that are how old?
Over 70 and a half.
Right. Now, in the year you turn 70 and a half, if I turn 70 and a half in August, do I have to take out my first year required minimum distribution, or what's my option?
No, you can wait to the following year. By April 1st, you have to, but then you also have to take out your second one that year, too.
So I could double dip the second year?
That's right. And you might want to call your tax accountant to find out if it's a good plan.
Yeah, because if you were working before you did that, your income may be higher, so you may want to wait to the following year because your income may drop.
The other thing is, a lot of people don't realize that you don't have to do an RMD if you're working for an employer and still contributing to an employer pension plan.
Right, on that plan only.
Right, on that plan only. But people don't realize that if you're working, if you're gainfully employed at an employer who has a qualified pension plan and you're making contributions to your pension plan, you're not required to do an RMD on that situation.
That's right. And while we're thinking of IRAs, Chris had somebody come in the other day, I think it was on Friday, and he was a young man, and he was thinking about switching over items to Roth IRAs. And that's another question you really want to sit down with your tax accountant and say, is
okay,
Roth...
Well, let's not breeze over this. This particular person said, I'd like to transfer money from my traditional IRA to a Roth.
Right, Chris?
And
Right.
Chris, what bells and whistles went off?
Well, first of all, I said, well, where do you work? Are you going to have a guaranteed pension plan when you're 70 and a half? And he looked at me and he said, of course not. I said, well, okay, so you're only going to have your 401ks and your IRAs. He said, yes.
And the 401ks are the ones he's contributed to himself plus an employer match, right?
Correct. So going through it, he's in the 25% bracket right now. When he retires in 30 years, we'll say if the current rates still hold up, he may be in the 15% bracket. So he's looking to pay 10% more in taxes now to save that 15% later. So he's going to pay 25% now in taxes to avoid paying 15% later. But
here's the other thing that people don't realize. Let's project out 15 years down the line. Right now, if you're married filing a joint return, you're not going to pay taxes until you have income of $22,000. If he has a 401k plan of $500,000, right?
Right.
And he starts taking out $10,000 a year out of his 401k, and his wife has no pension plan, they're just living on Social Security, they won't pay any income taxes on that money.
They won't even have to file. That's right.
So that's the conundrum. Yeah. Before you think, oh wow, this is going to be tax free forever, hopefully that Congress would keep it tax-free forever, but you don't even know that. But you would be taxing yourself now on something that may never have to be taxable later. And that's part of what we do at EG Tax. If during the week, if you have a situation that comes up and you think, gosh, I wonder what that answer would be, you can email us through our website at egtax.com. And I will be very happy to respond to you quickly, because many times what we do is to avoid taxes, we end up shooting ourselves in the foot. How many people have you heard, Tiff and Chris, that have said, oh, I don't want to make any more money because I'm going to have to pay taxes on that.
I wish I had a nickel for everybody.
Away,
a nickel, a lot of nickels. We'd have a lot of nickels,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, and then also our friends up north in Canada. On Friday, I was talking to somebody, and she lives here in the U.S., but she's a Canadian citizen, and so she was like sort of interviewing Chris, and Chris is like, "Yeah, I can do Canadian returns," and Chris was saying she has to report worldwide income, and so she has to report all of her income in Canada and the U.S., and so that can get pretty
Plus
tricky.
her FBAR. And for all my Canadian friends listening, if you are a U.S. citizen with income in any foreign bank account or any foreign investment that exceeds $10,000, you have to do an FBAR report. And even though Canada feels like it's your brother or sister and you don't feel like it's a foreign country, it is to the IRS. And so if you don't file that FBAR report, you can pay a fine of up to $10,000, or I think 50% of the asset value.
Correct. Yep.
So you don't want that to happen. Again, and we'll help you with that. And we're on your side. So if you need any help during the week, you can go to egtax.com. You can call us at 632-7886. Until next week, I'm Esther Gulias, the Tax Lady, with Christopher Fabian and Tiffany Fabian. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.